community. Welcome to Venus Legacy Client and Leader Spotlight Series. I'm so excited to have my long-term client and bestie and beloved queen sister Jill on today. I was just sharing with her how I'm really excited that we're finally having this interview because we've been working together for over a year. It's been such an expansive journey. We can't wait to share all about it with you and the line of work that Jill does, how that's spiraling, opening, how that's changing, transforming, alchemizing, and just how we've gotten closer together, how we've risen more in leadership together. It's really, really exciting. So welcome, Jill. Jill is an incredible photographer. She does boudoir photography, branding for leaders, for businesswomen, for visionaries, artists. She also does wedding photography, and her brand is Bear by Barrile. So we're really excited to talk more about that today.
I'm so excited.
Me too.
I feel so privileged. I'm so bummed.
Oh my God, we love you so much. I'm so glad you're here. Okay, beautiful. So we're gonna just open up today around feminine leadership, on the ins and outs of the intimacy of women, the vulnerabilities of women, the power of women, eros, erotic embodiment. Obviously, Jill does boudoir, so we're going to talk about that, which has been really cool to do. I gotten to shoot done with her, which was amazing. And yeah, just where it goes from here. So yeah,
So many
yeah, so many things. And we've been working together for a little over a year now, but this last time that we decided to up level, it was a massive leap for 2023. And I would love to know what about this was first of all, how was the experience? I think people have read a little bit on my page, but how was the experience of first hearing about the leap that we were going to take together, and what did it do for you, and why now, what's alive for you with that?
Oh my gosh.
And you can share the leap and everything too.
Yeah, I was like, wait, how do I start this? I know there was a lot of tears, but in good tears, a breakthrough tears, right? So,
Yeah.
well, we were at a bar and we started talking about it. I feel like we got in this 3 hour, whatever you want to call it, time was still for 3 hours. I don't even know how that happened, but yeah, you just brought up to me what was going on with you, and kind of how I had already expressed how I want to go deeper in my own business and kind of going to this another level, because over the last year you helped me so much move through some of the darkest stuff, deepest stuff that I've been having to navigate probably my entire life. And I feel like I was able to clear so much away in the last year, emotions, habits even, and kind of who I stand as a person has been totally shifted in the last year. The confidence I have in myself has changed so much, in my capabilities. And so when I came to you, I don't even know when we started talking about it, I was like, I kind of want to do this thing. I want to get into Tantra more. I want to get into more my sensuality, but in such a different level, right? And then we started talking about it on that night. I think it was a couple of different conversations, and I was like, yes. And then I went home and I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? Can I swear on here?
Yeah, go for
Okay.
it.
I was like, fuck no, I'm not doing that. That's scary. That's a big door to open, a big investment to make. And no, I'm not doing that. And I was, everybody, they have a conversation of walking themselves backwards, which is what I did. I was like, no, I'm going to do this instead. I'm going to do this instead. My brain spiraled. It was like, you don't need to do this. You don't need to do this. They're not going to do this. And then we had a few conversations. And when I was able to push, oh, hopefully this heat goes on. Hopefully you'll hear me okay. Is that a problem? Yeah. Okay. Sometimes it's loud. Once I started kind of getting past the ego and the money or whatever, and got to the root of what this actually is for me, which was getting past some shame that I'm experiencing in my own sensual, sexual being, and how I felt like that in relationships throughout my entire life, a lot of like sexual trauma that I've experienced. Um, I cried tears of like, I don't even know what it feels like to not carry this. And I even still, like, we're going through it now, and it's like I still am. I like said yes to basically like I'm not gonna carry that anymore. And it's still like exciting. It's exciting now knowing that I don't have to carry something that I've been carrying for my whole life, and it because it felt normal to just carry this stuff, and now I'm not gonna do it anymore. And to like invest in that, like I'm 33 years old, 33 years of like stuff that I carried anymore is been. I was like, it's like I was like, this is yours now. I don't even want it. Like I'm all in because I know more is for me, and like the more if I can get rid of this, the amount of things I can open up for myself is just gonna be unreal. So
Yeah, I love it so much because it's like we've only had, and just to be clear with like the
yeah,
viewers around this, right?
yeah.
Like
We just
the
kind of started this.
investment Jill made was a $30,000 investment. And at one time, because this is now, I think, the fourth time that you've reinvested.
Yeah.
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 Right? Yeah, I think this is the fourth
So
time, but the
worth a
ways
lot.
that there's been a journey for us to get here, and we're going to talk about the journey a little bit
Yeah.
more, but this was like
Yeah.
the biggest stretch, and we're going to talk about stretching and edging, but like it's still fresh, right? Like you just made that stretch like a month ago. And so it's
Yeah.
like, that is still really fresh for Jill. And it's like, yeah. And I remember when we were having those conversations, it was like, you're basically paying $30,000 to get to know your yoni.
Yeah.
Like that's a huge, and that's
She's
basically
kidding.
what we're talking about here, right? Because like the yoni, the cervix, the vagina, like that's what the yoni is. It's a vagina, your pussy, the cervix, like it holds so much mistrust, it holds so much pain, so much grief, so much shame, and it's also where our power is. And so it's of course like going to be an initiation when we are allowing ourselves, first of all, like, and I remember I said this, right? Like after you made the investment, I'm like, it's interesting because women all day long will spend tons of money on vacations or on beauty products or like the spa or massage. But it's like, at what point do we actually invest in really reworking and rewilding our inner self? And like, what a devotional investment to your own yoni, your own power, your own womb creative capacity. And the work that, Venus Legacy really specializes in is like, okay, this is where our power is. This is where our creative capacity is. This is how we rebirth the paradigm. So to be able to go into your own inner being and rebirth, recalibrate the shame, the trauma that's really holding you back and preventing, right? Like preventing you getting to the next level of what your goals and your intentions really are. And, you can talk about that a little bit more when we open up like your business, like what are the goals, what are the intentions, how is this impacting and shifting that, right? Because it's like, that's the thing, like we can only get to so far in our journeys until we start to realize there's a level of embodiment that I have to go deeper in to be able to express that externally more effortlessly, magnetically, and like aligned with what it is that my purpose is, with what it is that I'm lit up on fire about to share, right? To help others through. So I love that. And if you feel like you want to share it all, kind of like, the journey to how you got here, like when we first started, where you were at, and if you feel comfortable opening up a little bit deeper about anything, like I'm sure a lot of women could really relate. Um, and yeah, and like how working together has prepared you to get here. And I just want to also celebrate that, like, it's that you still said yes, even though there was like resistance after you said yes. And it was like, oh my God, right? Because that's true. The ego, the fear, the protection, like it all comes up because it's like, oh my God, what does it actually mean to no longer hold these 33 years of trauma? these 33, because we experience trauma the minute that we're birthed out of the vagina, and then our societal like upbringing, our familial conditions, like the ancestral lineage we carry, like there's ancestral trauma. So it's like 33 years on top of what you've actually physically experienced in your life in partnership, being a mother. Like, so it's like, yeah, like, of course the ego is going to be resistant to that. But, you know, the reason you were able to say yes to such a big investment was because we've worked together, right? And there's been such alchemy that's also taken shape. So I'm so glad that you're able to like really lead yourself through that, and that I could also support that process with this huge shift that you're making. So if you want to talk about the background at all, we'd love to bring that forward.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, oh my gosh. Okay. So I think I got introduced to you because I had an event in my studio space here with one of your clients, and she had just told me she did like a Reiki. She just got her Reiki certification, and I was like, I kind of want to like do that. I don't know. So she gave me your information, and I started following you, and then you actually reached out to me, I think. And so I was like, no, I want to work with you, kind of like thing that happened, right? So we ended up having a call. And what was going on for me at the time is I was splitting from a relationship with my son's father, and it had already been like a very traumatic experience of having a baby during COVID. Like, first thing, having a baby with someone I'm not like in a kind of interesting relationship with. That I don't know. I can go into deeper about that, but we had been together, but it was sort of like turbulent, and then I got pregnant, and like so trying to figure things out with somebody that, and then you're not on the same page as them, and you just had a baby and it's COVID, and now I'm moving out and I'm moving back into my parents' apartment, like one of their like a family home. And so it was like, what, my heart was so heavy. Like I just remember like so much heaviness, and I'm like, I don't know how I'm ever gonna like get this off of me, because I had felt it once before, but it had been there for like a long time, because there's like just stuff in my life happening. I'm like, I just felt this crazy heaviness. Oh, Mara. um, and I got introduced to you, and I went to one of your like in-person things, and I was like, I felt like a little less happiness just going and like being in this like community that you had here in Buffalo. And then we had our call, and you gave me like some options, and then there was like the all in option, and I'm like, I'm all in. Like I have like beat around the bush too much around this in my whole entire life, and I'm like, no, this is the time for me to be all in. I'm done carrying like all of the stuff around with me. I'm ready to step into this more like intentional person that's like doing things for her and not for other people's well-being, and like caretaking to them. And like I think that was, I don't know how many months, I think that was like 6 or 7 months of us working together that first time, I think. And oh my God, I haven't even like looked back at anything, because like I'm not even in that person anymore. I don't even want to even look at her anymore. Not that I don't love her, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't even know. I probably don't even understand where she's operating from anywhere, because I feel like I cleared so much. Like after that first experience, I'm like, I keep grabbing my heart, but I felt like my heart was just so much more open. There wasn't like that heaviness that I had been carrying for so long. I got myself like on my feet again, and like I started just doing things more for me. And then like after that, then we started going into my business. So we like helped me with business strategy and starting to like, how to connect with my audience. Cause I'm like, I am intimate with all my clients here, like in my studio, but like that was like a disconnect. And I have like a very, well, something we just started working on is like my throat and like expressing. And like I've been like feeling that my entire life as well, like where I can't get it out, which I think a lot of creatives really feel is that like, well, that's why we do creative stuff, because we don't want to stop, like we don't want to like actually like spew the words out. But we have all the words in us. We just sometimes need that coaching and like that mentorship that you gave me to like get vulnerable and have the words come out, like, has changed everything for me. I can have these conversations that I've been wanting to have with my clients because they come in with their own set of, trauma or shame or celebrations. And I'm able to like help them walk through that sort of stuff too. And it's just like, oh, it's so good. Um, and you've helped me like, oh my God, like I feel like the stuff I've had to deal with the last year and the stuff that you've had to like, you walked with me next to is like insane. Like, having to like learn to be a single mom and, this delicate co-parenting relationship while also like running my business and trying to start dating and like all of the things has been, it's been a journey, but I feel so held like having you with me like through this because like anytime I'm feeling like a little like I did this thing or like I'm starting to do this, like I'm starting to like date again and you're like celebrating everything with me and I'm like, okay. Liz is like celebrating me. Okay, good. Like, it's
Oh.
always so nice to like hear that back of someone just um like really seeing you and holding you and hearing you because I think that's like a big thing, especially as women. We just want to be heard more and like that to be sort of like mirrored back to us of like, yes, I hear you. Yes, I'm like, I understand what you're going through and I'm here to celebrate it and to like help you kind of navigate a little bit. And yeah, now we're doing this other big thing that we just started. And I'm so excited. I'm just excited.
Mm. So good. I'm like relishing in all the like, first of all, I'm just like taken back to the
Oh,
journey. And I'm like, yeah, you are such a different woman. It's like
yeah.
extraordinary. So
Yeah.
much more embodied, so much more grounded, like so fierce and strong. And like the way you can like also walk through because you're navigating some really intense things, right? Like and is it okay if I just mention it briefly? I'm not going to go into it, but like,
Yeah.
you've
Yeah.
got like the law involved with like
Yeah.
your son's father. And it's like, that's serious, right? Like that brings up a lot, not only just for you as a mother, but like the love that you navigated with him and like everything around that. And it's like, I just want to really like honor the resiliency that you have. And it's just incredible because on top of being a single mother, like going and living your life, dealing with really serious things with this ex, like healing your own body and the shame and the trauma, you're also running like an over like an over $100,000 a year business. Like you have a like you're verging on the edge of like multiple six-figure business. It's like, whoa, like that's incredible, right? And guiding all these other women and not to mention, right? Like you hit your six figures, what was it, in like 6 months last year?
Yeah. I think it was
Yeah.
like 6 or 7 months.
You hit your
Summer.
six figures in like 6, 7 months while you were going through all that. And it's like, so I mean, this is in my opinion, like you are like my diamond client because I'm like this is the woman who can handle all the things and also like recognizes where she does need support, also
Yeah.
recognizes where her ego is shattering, also recognizes where it's like, yeah, like one identity is moving to the next. Like I'm here to edge, I'm here to grow. And it's been a process and it's been beautiful, like from the beginning, where we really worked deeply with the earth essence formulas and like tantric work and like emotional work and like how to like work with the parasympathetic nervous system. And that's so important because I feel that a lot of women that are like really in more of like, even though you're operating a feminine business, right? Like you're in more of your masculine energy. And so to be able to come into like your body and like understand your emotions more and like start to connect deeper to like what you feel, what you desire, your pleasure, like all these things, it's like, of course, it's going to be like, of course, we're going to then work with the business. Of course, we're going to arrive here where we're going to go even deeper into the embodiment, like go even deeper into the yoni, into the cervix, into your womb, and really like heal this energy, but also not just heal it, like utilize the devotion, the connection that's here to like skyrocket the next level of your goals and your desires. That's so in alignment with the greater vision that you hold for Bear, right? Like for your brand. And it's like, we're going to talk about that, but I just really want to celebrate you and also just thank you for all your beautiful words. And it's been such a gift to be able to take this journey with you, to be in the ins and outs of your life, to know that you trust me so deep, to like, hold you through that process, to guide you through that process and always bring you back to like, reminder, can we remind ourselves like to how much we've grown? Can we celebrate the small things? Can we tap into coming alive, to tap into our pleasure and like let that like incubate, gestate, and like skyrocket us to where we want to go, And it's just so beautiful. So
Yeah.
it's a gift.
Ugh. I mean, like I think about it all the time. I'm like, I don't know what I would have done in the last year. Like, if had I not had someone, especially you, to hold me through that. Like, I don't know. And I do work with like women that have gone through like similar things, like breakups. Of course, everyone like experiences that. Like, and then you bring children into it. It's like a whole, especially if you're like very deeply connected and like, you know, everyone cares for their children, but like there's like this deep emotionalness that some of us experience more, I think. But
Like
and
you.
yeah. And he's so cute. But like I don't know how I would have navigated such heavy heavy stuff for me and heavy emotions. I think it was more than anything. And now I have like a sense of more like not even, I don't want to say letting go, but I'm able to navigate my emotions and like have like a very like be very conscious but like very intellectual about my emotions instead of like letting them take hold of me all the time. Like I had for years, like I would just be like upset and then like couldn't walk myself through the emotions. And I think that's like one of the biggest things that has gotten me like through it, is like how to navigate those things too, has been um it's been huge, like especially going through such deep changes and traumas and um yeah, I don't I yeah,
Oh yeah,
all
100%.
that.
I mean, I'd say that it's like this deep aspect of just learning how to co-create with the emotions rather than them controlling,
Yes.
and it's like,
Mhm.
it's huge because as women leaders, like we are here to lead with our emotions. It's just like, at what point do they sabotage us, right? Because we give too much power to them,
And
as opposed
self-loathing
to
and
yeah, as opposed to like, let me feel them and then let me like open them up, journal about them, get clear, like where is this coming from? Like, what is here for me to grow from? Like where's the deeper layers within myself of like how I'm moving through this? Like, specifically, right? Like, I mean, I've had that too, like deep agony or deep loss or deep
yeah,
grief. And it's like, you have to die through that process. You got to let yourself feel it. And then it's like, as long as you stay there is as long as it's going to be for you to get to where you want to go. So it's like you feel it to like the depths, you let it crack your heart completely open. You ask for support. Like for me, I turn to God and then I pull myself through that. Right. And so it's been such a gift being able to guide you and like, how do we pull ourselves through that? And like, that's the journey of like mentorship, right? Like, how do we really
yeah,
work with the emotions? How do we work with the energetics so we can keep building, growing, like to our dream life that we're really calling in, to the purpose and impact that we want to create, and like get more creative because we don't have so much space being taken up by pain, you know?
right,
So
right.
it's like that's power. The pain is turned into power because you recognize that you're in co-creation with these things. They're not here to like imprison you or hold you bondage to your reality. So it's been such a gift being able to do that work with you. And, I think this is a great segue also into, the expansion of where you're at with your business, right? And so with this space right now, you know, what are you most excited to see happen with like visionary leadership, with feminine mentorship, with like the feminine kind of like consciousness, feminine movement that's taking shape? um like, what are you excited about that, and like specifically around the work that you do and how you want to play a part of that? And if you want to touch on like eros and erotic energy at all, I know that we haven't opened up too much of that quite yet. But if there's anything that feels in relation, considering you do boudoir, that you want to kind of share about that as well.
Yeah, sure. So, God, I didn't even know this world existed before you like introduced me to it. And it's like, wow, women are doing some amazing things. And I talk about it now with people. I'm like, do you know that these things exist? Like, there's this like female mentorship world that's like blooming, and nobody, like, a lot of people don't know about it. And I think it's really cool. So, like, I feel like I'm in on a secret in a sense in this world. Because I didn't know about it. Like, I didn't really know what mentorship was before I met you. And like now being introduced to this world, I'm like, I don't know that I would want to like be doing what I'm doing without that type of support. And like, and now I feel in a place where I'm kind of being called to do the same for other people. Like, I walk through things, and I know I'm already doing this in my work already of like helping women, you know, connect deeper to themselves, but they're also doing a lot of deep healing work. So I primarily shoot boudoir photography, and a lot of, and you know, when I first started, it was just like, wow, I love watching women come alive. Like, I love like pampering them. And it was just about sexy pictures and like the angles and yada yada, right? Like, but the deeper I got into this work, the more women started to like share their stories with me, the more I'm like, oh wow, this is like some serious like medicine here that I've been like sitting in, and I did not even realize. And like having a woman tell you that she's been like, you know, abused, or like she had been like, you know, an addict for so long, and now she's here to like reclaim her body, and this is like celebration of her life. Or she had like, you know, had a horrible childhood, and um like had, you know, had to walk through a lot of stuff and trauma, and now she's like in a place where she's reclaiming what's hers, and like defining what that is stuff for her, and healing beyond like something I can even totally comprehend. But like to hold them here is, I didn't really realize how powerful this was going to be. And um being like witness to those experiences, seeing women come alive after something like this, like the best compliment I got was like after, she's like, I thought I was gonna feel like super sexy and like, you know, whatever, like after. And I'm like, she's like, but I feel so strong. And I'm like, that is probably the best compliment I could ever receive. Like, you feel strong after doing something like this. Like, you can do anything. You can. You literally can. And like, I hope that you harness that. And I hope you feel that when you look at these, or you can think about it, this experience, and remember that. So this world has brought like opened me up to so much, like them like female led leadership as well as boudoir, and like them coming together. It's like, for me, I think my place is like a little bit of a playground. That's how I think of it, a little bit of like, even for you, Liz, like when you did a shoot with me, or like after I, like all these like things sparked with me, and you have no idea how many women come to me and like, for my next one, I can't wait to do this. And it's like, oh, like I'm so excited for you to like want to open up this like creativity that that maybe you never like allowed yourself to have, but you did, like, or you did and you didn't know how, or like whatever it was that drew you here. Like, anyone that I talked to, I'm like, you came here, like the reason you're calling me is for a reason, right? Like, I mean, a lot of women are like, I've been thinking about it for a while, and I'm like, when it's the right time for you to go down this path, to like touch in with yourself, to go down this road of like reclaiming your body, celebrating yourself, getting in touch. Like, I feel like more I've been starting to like get people to touch themselves more, because I feel like we don't do that. And I'm like, I'm constantly holding myself all the time. And I've been doing that my whole life. And I was thinking about that. I was like, going to tell you, because I'm like, I know we're going to start doing a lot of like work where we're touching ourselves a little bit more. And I'm like, I already like know that I do that. Like, I used to joke about it all the time. And just like, you know, not being afraid of ourselves. I think that's part of it too, is like, we get afraid of ourselves because of things that have been told to us or done to us. And
like our body is dirty, or like there's like, you know, we're insecure like in our skin, we're insecure like with our curves, our dimples, we're like, you know, maybe too flat chested, like all the different insecurities that come up, and then we're like, don't even want to touch this part of us.
right, right. Yeah, like I have women that don't even want to look at themselves naked. They tell me they like get out of the shower and quickly get dressed as soon as possible. and don't like, give themselves love. They don't look at themselves in the mirror, and like to go from that to like getting naked in front of a stranger is like a big leap for them. So like I think of like I took this big leap with you, but like my clients do that. Like they're like, I'm so nervous to do this. And I'm like, what are you nervous about? Oh yeah, you're gonna like not be the same person afterwards because you're gonna see yourself differently and you're gonna like uncover things about yourself you never knew.
Mhm.
That's pretty cool. Like you don't even realize you're doing that, but like they're walking themselves to that. So it's I'm starting to like remind people like this is a big deal. You can make it a big deal, and yeah, I could go on and on clearly.
Yeah, it's like I've got so much moving too. And it's like that's the thing, right? Like that's an erotic movement. Like
Yeah.
Eros is aliveness. That's what it is. Like Eros, our tantric energy, like our life force, it's our Kundalini life force power capacity, right? It's love, it's pleasure, it's joy, it's bliss, it's euphoria, it's death, it's destruction. It's like whatever is making us feel alive, right? Present to the moment. And so I love that, right? Like that's an erotic movement. It's so easy to be on autopilot. And there's so many women that I talk to too, where it's like they get in the shower and it's like how many times are you in the shower? I mean, I don't do this because I'm very present, but I've talked to so many clients that are, it's just like my to-do list. I got to do this. I got to do this. It's like you've got beautiful water running over your naked body, like baptizing you, clearing the energy from the day, the night, like baptizing you for where you're going to go. And it's like, and then they just like rub their body really fast. There's like no connection. No
Yeah.
connection. So I love that, yes, there is a deeper pull to the things that we're magnetized to. And we don't have to understand what it's going to be like. We don't have to like try to fit it in a little box and like tie it with a bow of like, this is what I'm going to
Right.
get out of it. It's like,
Right.
yeah, if you allow yourself, you'll be totally blown wide open because it's an erotic experience. And that's the whole point. It's to come alive outside of your mental projections of what you think you know. And so I felt the same thing when I came in and I got my brand shoot with you, right? Like we had a conversation. Like I thought it was like, oh, I'm just capturing myself. I feel so beautiful in my body. I'm capturing myself in all this. And it's like I left and I was like, I feel like magic. I feel like straight up magic. I've remembered my magic. I'm embodied in my magic, and I'm just going to create magic from this point forward. Like totally different frequencies, so many downloads, so many revelations. And like, yes, of course, I felt incredible in my body too, but it was so much more than that. It was so much more than sexiness. And that's also Eros. It's so much more than just sex. It's so much more than just like masturbating with yourself. It is going into the depths of your own pleasure, your own discovery of like, who am I? What do I want? How much more is there to come alive to? And so you are 100% leading an erotic movement. And I love that through this journey, when we first started, like there was really like no capacity to the depth of like what it was that you were really doing, even though you were getting like the feedback. And like naturally through the journey, it's like, whoa, like these women are telling me, like they're opening up with me. And of course, like you're opening up with yourself. So of course they're gonna, the world is our mirror. So the more we open up and go deep and vulnerable with ourselves, like we can't help but also magnetize those mirrored reflections of people in. So I love that it all just started clicking, and yeah, it's like so exciting with where your brand is going now. Like, these intimacy sessions that are getting started, and you're starting to work with men. It's like, whoa, like it's so cool. And
Yeah. Can we talk about the men for a second? Because I feel like
talk about the
like
men for a
one
second.
thing.
Yeah, please.
Because I feel like it's interesting because I'm just starting out, and like the amount of men I've had conversations with about this is like really interesting to me because they are so interested in opening this up for themselves. Like go talk to your people because like they want to, like I feel like a men like want this too for themselves, to open up to themselves in a different way, in a vulnerable way, in a more feminine way. And I'm like so excited to like be diving deeper into like that work with men because they deserve like the same things. I like say everyone deserves things. Like I want them to feel like their connection to themselves even more. And I think like it's becoming, it is feels taboo to like for men to do stuff like this. So it's taboo for them to like want to talk about their emotions, or like not even emotions, but like their like eroticness, and like wanting to like be creative. Like for me, like the creativity part of that. And um to see some of these men come alive and be like, that was so much fun and playful and like different, is so freaking cool. Like you have to be in a certain place, I think too, but like it's become like curiosity is becoming there. Like it's coming out more, and I'm here for it. Like I'm excited for like both parties. Like I feel like it's good for us women to like see our men in the world wanting to be captured in the same way, and they want it too. So I'm excited. Like there's so much excitement. Like I'm so excited for the women work that I'm doing, but I also am like really drawn in. We've talked about it. I'm like, I don't know why, but I'm like, I feel like this is just like me healing for in like so many capacities for so many people. Um, but then we also have like a ton of women stuff coming up. So I'm excited
Yeah.
for that too. But
No,
I do presence the month. That's something that Denver like it's here for them too. Like this work is here for them too in some way.
100%. And I'm right there with you, right? It's like, as women, it's natural to be able to lead, to guide, to support women because it's like shared experiences. Like, like we hold a lot of the same imprints, like coming from the womb and like emotions and bleeding every month or being mothers, like those initiations, right? And so it's like, it's so much more I think effortless for you and I to be called to that energy, but I'm 100% right there with you, and I know we've talked about that. It's like there's something huge brewing for both of us, and how we're also here to support men. And like hint hint, Jill and I are probably going to do retreats together. And I'm sure we'll have some energy of that in there on the road, but like, it's like that's the thing. It's like 100%. And I love being able to witness men opening up to more of this space as well. And especially with the work you do with boudoir, it's like being captured in front of a camera, like sexy, sultry, like bare, emotional, like like the stuff that's coming up for them. It's so beautiful. It's like the innocence of their own feminine and masculine too. So I really love that. Yeah, beautiful. Um, So, I think this is relatable as well. One of the questions that I wanted to ask is like, that's edging for men, right? Like it's maybe fun at first, but then they get in to the studio, like, with a woman who's capturing them, like disrobing, delayering, like in their emotional process. It's like, that's an edge, right? And like, I guess I believe that this work of Eros is like, that's the point. It's like, how much more alive can you really get to life? How much more can you edge yourself? How much more can you stretch yourself? How much more? And that can be in the bedroom, that can be in the photography, like, studio, that can be in your bank account. Like, and I think it's an important topic to talk about. Like, like the $30,000 investment that you made was like a massive stretch, a massive edge. And it's like, we talked about it briefly, but if you feel like you want to like open that up a little bit further, or other areas of your life, like where you feel like you're stretching or edging, just kind of like some advice that you feel you might want to give to the purpose behind that, like letting the ego be prepared for the new identity. And like, I just had something similar happen with my own self, right? Like in Sedona, I did, well, I mean, I've been really edged, and I'm going to talk about that more on my channel. Jill knows what happened for me. And not my viewers don't know yet, but you'll find out soon when I launch my podcast. Um but yeah, like, like I was really edged in the beginning of the year, and it was like, holy shit, are you going to like choose the past identity or the new identity? And it was an intense initiation, by God, like by the light of my higher self. And and I made a huge stretch as well, investing like 53K in one of my mentors in a mastermind. Like that was a huge edge for me, like one after the other. And then in Sedona, I buried something that was a totem that was very dear to my heart. Huge edge for me to release that. And so, if you want to talk about a little bit more deep around like, what did it edge for you with making this investment? What is it edging for you to be like, I'm willing to dive into my shame? And like, what's on the other side of what you feel is happening for that identity that's brewing? And any advice that you feel like you
So
want,
many things.
because I think that it's very
Yeah.
relatable to be like, I'm afraid of what's going to happen, or the ego wants to hang on for dear life. So you can talk about your experience, or you can just provide advice, whatever feels right for you.
Um, yeah, edging. Wow. Because what the $30,000 investment, that was like a big one, right? Like I feel like in my life I had stretched in different ways, and that was the biggest financial stretch of my life, I would say. Like I've stretched in the travel experiences where I like moved away to like the other countries and like did a lot of solo stuff, which was a huge edge for me like when I was younger. And now, yeah, this big financial stretch was like, should I do that? Like, is that responsible? Like, it was like all those like things that come up, right? Like,
Totally.
but I think it's not, I'm trying to figure out how to word it, but it's, if it feels in alignment, like when it really comes down to it, like if it aligns with where you feel like you're going, the stretch, like pain, like I don't want to say the pain, the tingles that like comes with it, like the painful ones, those kind of go away. Like I felt like once I committed, and then it took me a little while to like figure out some stuff. I remember having dreams and being like, this isn't even my money anymore. This isn't the energy. I'm like holding onto this energy that I don't want anymore. And it was like, I just need to give this to Liz. Like I felt relief
Oh my God, how
after
beautiful.
giving it to you. Like I was like a moment of like, just take it. Cause I only like, cause remember it was like a little bit of time where I'm like, I had to like, figure some stuff out. And
Yeah, you were going
after
through a
saying
big
yes,
initiation.
yeah, and it was like, okay, like I'm ready. Like yeah, I remember like waking up, I had like several dreams of like just not necessarily me giving money, but like just say like, I can feel it right now. Like I just want to like push this over to you because I want it out of my hands right now. And like knowing that it wasn't even mine anymore was like a testament to me knowing like this is right for me. Like this is the next thing that I'm like going after. And even something we just started, like I kind of talked about, like we talked about me just stepping into leadership roles, and I'm like, I know that's what I'm supposed to do, but it is like the biggest edge for me because I'm scared like to step up in front of those. I'm scared. I've been scared of my own voice. I'm scared of like doing these things, and I keep doing them because I know it's for me and I'm supposed to, like I don't want to say supposed to, but I know it's like the thing that I want to do, but it is like the scariest thing that I do is share my voice. To do even this, it's like even maybe a year or two ago, it would have been really hard. And I'd be like, I'd probably be like, have all this anxiety around like having to talk to you on a screen and then people are going to hear me and like, like all the things. And like, I'm like edged myself little by little. And then this like big investment was like, fuck, you're doing this and you better hold on because you're about to like actually step into this role, like the person that you are been like tiptoeing towards. Like
Mm,
now it's like we jump.
mm.
So as far as advice goes, um, I would say like whenever I feel like it's hard though, like I know something's for me, I go after it. Like that's like, and I think that's like just like a deep knowing and a deep intuition that you have to like kind of come to terms with almost. And I honestly don't really know how to explain it except for like really sitting with yourself. I think the advice is to sit with yourself. And if there is like if you can like get down to the root of where you're trying to go and it brings you to tears or brings you to like wanting to like write or purge something or whatever, then it's probably for you.
Mm.
Then it's something that you should go after, right? Like if it's just seems like what everybody else is doing, and I think that's where like I think people maybe get caught up is like, well, I'm supposed to do this or like I'm like this is that, but whatever, it's not in alignment with them yet. Maybe I think that's where we get a little tripped up, is that we think that's what we want, and you sometimes have to go down that road of like what you think is right
Mhm.
for you to learn the lessons, right? Like so I think you always should go. I always feel like if you're not stretching, you're just not living. If you're not like trying to do a little something different, like without risking your life, of course, in some capacity, right? But like, if you're not really like pushing it a little bit, are you like, where, what, you die? You die. Like, if it's not physically, like parts of you do. So, but I'm kind of one of those crazy people that I feel like just is like, this feels right. I'm going to do it. I don't
Yeah.
know.
And also like I honor like the whole journey, right? It's like you are risking dying by
Yeah.
doing it as well. That's the thing. Like there's ego death, right? And so
Yeah.
I think
That's
the
true.
survival mentality of like, am I going to be relatable? Am I going to be loved? Will I be judged? Will I be ostracized? Will I be shamed? Will I actually be able to have a roof over my head, eat? Like all of that comes up from the ego. And I actually, like, as you were sharing, like, I think it's really wild that you were in a space of this isn't even mine anymore, because I remember when we had the first conversation, you were like, yes, like, are you like, there's literally like a magic portal opening up as we're having this conversation in the bar. This is freaking insane. I feel like I've been up leveled to a different dimension. And I think what's really interesting is that then when the ego came up, the resistance, the fear, which is totally natural when you're edging, when you're going to like a stretch, um, it was like, all this stuff came up also, because the purpose is like, how bad do you, it's almost like a test from the universe, how bad do you really want what you know is in alignment for you, and how resilient, how strong, how will you walk yourself through this, how much can you hold yourself and hold your energy and your emotions from sabotaging you, right? Hold the old identity to trust to move into the new identity, because that's the biggest thing too. Like you were going through such an initiation. Your mom went to the hospital. It was like crazy what you were walking through during those few days. And it was like, I mean, that's the thing. It's like all the stuff comes up for review for you to really choose. Do I keep choosing what's comfortable where I'm slowly dying and I know is not in alignment where I want to go? And it's like the karmic stuff purges, like the distractions, the distress, the other things to deal with. I mean, it's the same thing I navigated under the Cancer full moon when I learned my two paths to take. And it's like, holy shit, like, are you going to choose the old identity or the new identity? And so I think the advice that I really offer too is like, can you hold the capacity during that time emotionally and energetically, no matter what distress is coming up in your field? Can you walk yourself through that? Can you surrender deeper to your knowing, your alignment, that it is for you? And that also it's not just because it's for you, right? Your belief is stronger than your fear. And because it's for you, it's undeniable that you will succeed one way or another. It's just that we have to let the survival, the fear, like all these energetics just dissolve, right? And not like disappear, but not control us. They get to dissolve as a part of the process. I hear you. You're there. I get it. And I trust. My belief is stronger than my fear. My belief is stronger than my survival. I trust that I will be taken care of because I know this is for me. Right. And yeah, there is a feeling that's undeniable. And usually the universe will have like a lot of stuff come up in your field, like it did for you, like it did for me, to be like, are you really choosing the path? It's a test, really,
Oh
you
my
know,
God.
from your
Totally.
higher self. Like, how bad do you
Girl.
really need this, you know?
All the
So
goosebumps.
yeah, it's so real. Like, because it's very like, I mean, it's the adrenaline, like, right? When you're at the edge of the cliff, like there's adrenaline. Like, are you gonna jump? Are you gonna fall back? Like, you've got the parachute on. Like, there's an adrenaline, there's a feeling, there's a vibration, and like all chaos is breaking loose in that moment. But where do you go? Do you stay like in what's consistent, and do you actually retreat? Or do you jump and like feel exhilarated and like erotically come alive to your life and like get the experience off your bucket list and like continue thriving from that point forward?
Mm-hmm.
Like that stretches you to like believing more in yourself, to believing more that life will catch you, to believing that there's beauty and there's wonder and there's rapture for you in the whole experience. So yeah, it's so good.
So good. Yeah. And I'll even say too, like in the last month after making the investment, and then I had a little bit of a ebb in my business, but I was also like, and so that was a little bit of a test of like, just keep trusting, like it's gonna come back to you eventually. Like ebbs are really happen in all businesses, and you just have to like surrender to them. And in the last week, I've booked 15 new shoots, which
Yeah.
is like incredible. Like I don't think I've ever booked that many shoots ever in like a week, especially. So I'm like, everything came back to me. And I will say too, like right before I made the investment, I got tested like by the universe, was like, I'm gonna give you all the things that are like going that you learned this year, and we're gonna see if they worked. And I was like, nope, we're not doing that anymore. Some still are lingering, like they keep coming back, and I'm like, I'm gonna keep passing. Like, trust me, I already learned this. But it was honestly the calling myself forward to be like, this is your initiation, and saying like, nope, next, like I'm not doing this anymore. We're gonna go into we're over here now. Was like a to pay attention to that. I think like that is maybe a key. Like that is like something to tell people is like pay attention to the tests that your life keeps throwing at you. And when they come up again, because they always do if you don't like really go like harness them and go through them, all right. Or learn from them or whatever it is, like pay attention to them because and like when you do pass them, like give yourself that celebration of that of like acknowledging it. I think that is like a big part of it is like acknowledging the like that change or like that passing or like whatever it is. And it could be so small as like just saying something to someone or like saying no. And like because that's what some of my stuff was like I need to like not like something's calling me to like say something to this person, and just saying it and or whatever it might be. It could be something so small, and I think it shifts a lot. So
Yeah.
there's that.
I just had like an image while you said that of like, it's almost like a funeral. Like,
Mm,
can you actually have a funeral full of laughter and joy and celebration rather than like tears and devastation and that grief is the gateway to like more love and to more compassion and more connection. But it's like, at what point do we suffer more to get there? Whereas
yeah.
like the celebration of your own ego death can be joyous. It
Yeah.
actually just it like closes the gap to where you want to go. Like you get there faster. You know what I mean? Because you're already in the high velocity state of love and joy and celebration. So it's
Yeah.
like, yeah. And yeah, sometimes there are lessons to learn, right? But it's like, again, how many times do you want to repeat the same thing? How much suffering do you want to project yourself or subject yourself to? Right. Whereas like looking at ourselves as the evidence or looking at other people, and I know that was helpful for you. I'm like, I just did this, right? I had like $200 in my account. Like I invested, or like I filled out an application and I'm gonna do it, and I just trust it's gonna happen, and like within 5 days, right? Like almost $40,000. And it's like, that's the thing. Like I also really love that you mentioned, right? Like making sure it's for you, because it's really easy to see everybody else doing it and get like swooped up in that. And there's like a lot of beauty in there's a lot of beauty in that, because there's a lot with feminine leadership and like the feminine ecosystem that's being created, that like if I can do it, you can do it. There's no separation. And
Right.
also like there's a readiness. There is a readiness that we have to
Yeah.
be. Um and like you've been being mentored for over a year, like you're in the readiness, like we've
Right.
seen the progress of your journey, which is why ultimately, right, like you were in the test of one version of you dying, no clients really coming in, clients
Mhm.
like canceling their shoots, like no money coming in, and then in like 2 weeks or 1 week getting all the money back, booking 15, like because it's like that's the point. Like, can you hold your knowing that there's something on the other side that's expanding and stretching you to where you actually want to go, that's in alignment with the greater dream? And there is like a burying process.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, there is. There is though. Oh my God, we could talk about that forever, honestly, like
I know.
forever.
I know,
Make
but
this 4 hours. Just
I
kidding.
know, right? We'll wrap up though. Yeah, I love it. It's so good. So share with me briefly.
Okay.
What are you most excited about with exploring? Obviously, we understand a lot of like the erotic, like aliveness that's coming with like the expansion. Actually, if you want to share a little bit deeper, like what are you most excited about with the erotic expansion of your business and your leadership, as well as the erotic expansion of your own body?
Mm,
I
okay.
just threw that question at you. It wasn't on the list, but it's
No,
a
that's okay. I don't even remember all the questions on the list. So it's okay.
lot.
I was most excited about. Well, I mean, like I feel like in general, I'm constantly wanting to go deeper with myself. So like I'm just excited, especially in my more like sensual, erotic, sexual self. Like I'm at a place where I don't know, I don't remember if we were talking about it, but I'm like I'm in a weird place. I feel like I've sat it's hard to kind of explain, but like this is probably the most alone I've ever been in my entire life. Not my entire life, but like my like whole dating sexual like world in my life. And I feel like it's a really important time for me to kind of sit with just me, like going through like a journey of sexual exploration. And like having that pause of like intimacy with like another person, and bringing them into like my world. And I feel like for me personally, what I'm excited to see is like what kind of like relationships I'll be bringing into my life from here,
Mm.
maybe in like a sexual manner, but even like in a like in a friendship sense too, in like a business sense too. I think like tapping into like that part of my like self-expression is going to bring I'm going to unwrap something that I haven't been able to unwrap because I've always had like either someone there or like it wasn't like just my journey, right? So like right now I'm in like a totally devotion to me and myself, and like since I was a teenager. So like it's a really long time to like, you know, finally like come back to myself like in a more sensual erotic way. And I know it's gonna like boom open my business. I started this week. Last week we started talking with like another business locally, and we're gonna start doing events together that like are about like erotic kink and like BDSM, like stuff like that, and like bringing that to people because like that's the thing. Like I don't think it's always accessible. People don't feel like it's accessible. They're like interested, but it's not like. And I want to be aligned with people that are like wanting to like not just say it's okay, but like allow the people to like have that creative expression to dip their toes into stuff that might be for them and actually get into that. So for me, and like being able to show up and unlocked, I guess is like the best way I can explain it. Um, is going to allow more things to come into me and those more opportunities to meet like other people in this world to help us like really like just I don't even know how I just like know this. I'm a visual person, so it's like a lot more of this.
I love it.
I can visualize it. I can't explain it. Those words will come later. But like a lot of just I don't know, it's like breaking and breaking everything open. Like I just eventually like with
Mm.
anything, I just feel the light, like I can just see the light cracking open and so much newness pouring out and like acceptance. And like it's funny, even this week, one of my clients was like, I'm trying to find my community. I'm trying to find like the women that wanna they're like me. And I'm like, they might be here. Like she does like things like pole and like she wants like more self sensual expression and like more women are wanting that, and I want to put myself in alignment with them even more so and like, you know, be guided by them while they guide me. And like I just feel like it's like the next thing for me and my business and my leadership. And the more I'm saying this, I didn't even know this was here for me. I just like this is coming out of me now. I haven't even thought about this until this moment. So this is
Oh,
fresh off the press.
I love it. So good. Oh, yes. Two things.
But yeah, okay.
We should go to a strip club, you and me.
Okay.
Because I've had like a desire to do that since like October. And I'm like, I just want to like go be with these women and like have these erotic conversations and like alive conversations and like female sensuality. So we should definitely do that.
Okay.
The second thing is I love what you said, right? Like the play to see if something is for them. Like I love that, right? Because sexuality, sensuality, erotic energy, like our yonis, our pussies, our vaginas, like it's like our breasts, like our body. It's like it's so taboo and so oppressed.
Yeah.
And it's also like where you feel fucking free. And it's why we're so obsessed with porn, why we're so obsessed with dating, why we're so obsessed with like, kinky conversations, because it's what we secretly all want. And the
Yeah.
more that we allow those places to be so safe to
Mhm.
explore, like there's accountability, there's responsibility, there's adventure, there's playfulness. It's like, can we see if there's something for you there? So
Right.
I love that so much. I'm really excited to see, you know, and I've been sharing that with you since the beginning, just like this journey together as we dive deeper into you, into your cervix, into your yoni, into your body. And, it's like, ooh, what are we going to pull out with your business? And already we've had like only one erotic, very like PG ceremony, but it was beautiful. And it's like, look at what happened, like 15 sales, now this new like collaboration. It's like, sis, like we are gonna go into gold. Like, so it's like, yeah, like this is the beauty of it. And I love that so much. Thank you for sharing what you're excited about and where you feel like it's going. And I also love that you're just here for the exploration rather than like, this is what I want to do. It's like, I'm here to unravel it. And obviously we've got like a business model going and we've got like ideas of like launching, but it's like also like the inspiration of the play, because that's the whole point of the erotic energy.
Yeah.
Like what's alive in the moment that's also like regenerative for everybody else. So I love that so much. Cool. um Okay, beautiful. We're gonna wrap up.
Okay.
Is there anything in the works that you're excited to share that's coming from you besides this beautiful thing that you just mentioned in Buffalo that's happening?
Yeah.
But anything that you want to share with Bear or with the expansion of your brand or with some creations, anything that feels like it wants to be shared. And also I'll obviously be putting your Instagram in so everyone can follow you and what you do. But yeah, anything that you want to share?
Yeah, so there's so many little things happening in the works. I think the most present one, which is going to be coming out next month, is my intimacy calls, which are going to be really cool. They're basically going to be typically are going to be for my boudoir clients or someone that already has is doing a shoot with me. It could be branding as well. Where they're going to be able to go, we're going to be able to set up a call where they can like deep dive into like basically their ultimate boudoir session, like also going through their blocks and like how it can like help guide them, but also like how we want to celebrate like themselves and whatever's like kind of coming up. Like I feel like I have consultations with them and some of these consultations are like an hour long and I'm like, we need more time. So I feel like now I'm able to give like that space to people that want to go deeper with their experience, or they're trying to uncover something before their shoot or even after their shoot that like came up for them after their shoots, where like some women do have like Liz, I've had other people like so much happen for them after their shoot, and like to like celebrate with them or also to like help guide them into like another direction of like helping them like like unpack it almost even more, flesh it out. So I'm really excited about that. And these been touching on some retreats that might be are going to be happening this year. There's definitely going to be some sort of retreat experience happening in 2023, like without a doubt. Um, and soon, I'm not sure on the date, but I will be doing my own sort of membership program, mentorship program that'll be coming out, hopefully before the end of like this first half of the year, probably in the next month or two. So those are all the things. So a lot of fun stuff happening. I'm excited. I can't like so lit up by this business and like the direction we're going. And I didn't know what was the next thing. And now I'm like, I know what the next thing is. And it's really exciting when the new things come.
Yeah.
So,
So good. Oh my God, we're so here for it. And we'll make sure that everybody follows. Yeah, definitely follow Jill. Her journey is amazing and celebrate her. She's opening up her voice more on her platform. It's so beautiful to witness. And also I just want to say, like, thank you for expressing yourself so like openly here. I know it's a huge stretch for you. And also it's just like extraordinary to be able to just learn more about you, like the intimacy, like what lights you up, like what alives you, right? Like what's alive for you. And yeah, I just really want to celebrate that you're edging yourself even to do this. So thank you. I feel honored. I feel excited. We're all here supporting, rah rah, cheering us all on. And yeah, also if you want to book a boudoir or like branding shoot or a little mixture of both, I recommend getting in touch with Jill. Like she's amazing. I loved my shoot with her so much. We'll definitely be doing more. And there's just like, there's so many things. So definitely get in touch. Yeah.
Thank
All
you.
right. I love you so much.
Love you.
I love you so much.
Thank you
I'm
for
excited
having
to
me.
connect next week.
Yeah.
And yeah, thank you everyone for being here. We're so grateful. There's just so much gems and wisdom in here. So we hope that it inspires you to come alive to your life.
Thank you.
I love. Bye.
Bye.